I'm Tyler Taz. I'm an artist slash audio engineer.
She trying to get my heart away. It's not a thing. I never thought of troubled waters as a happy place. You're changing me. Yeah. Sometimes I wish that I could go back to the time when I really knew you. I don't really know the new you. It's something that I'm getting used to.
Music was just always a huge part of like my life, whether it was sitting in the car with my parents, listening to the radio, and I had an uncle who did music as well. He'd always be playing guitar at Christmas and all that, and it turned out to be like a really good outlet for me emotionally and just getting thoughts out. And obviously everything sucked back then, but it kind of carried over into my late teens to adult life, where it just kept being a good outlet for me, basically. When I'm making music, and I think everybody loves good feedback and getting the sense that people like what you did, but I know how I feel like when I find like a new song that I really like, or it just ends up hitting the situation you're in like to a T. I know how that makes me feel. So when somebody tells me like, man, that song you put out, like I'm just going through a similar thing right now, like it really speaks to me. As corny as it sounds, like that is one of the best feelings creatively that I have ever felt. As far as engineering goes, when an artist brings me like a piece of work that either they've tried to create before or just haven't yet, and we're working on it, cooking it up, getting the mix done, and at the end of it they're like, man, that sounds like better than I even imagined it. That is the best feeling, I think, as an engineer that you can get. My process, songwriting wise, typically I've got to be going through something, so I kind of have somewhere to draw it from, because like I said, growing up, like that was always a good outlet for me. So I think my brain just works in that way, to where it's like if I don't have something personal that I'm going through, it's really hard for me to actually get lyrics down and a track idea down that I really like. So that's the first step, is going through something shitty. I'll do like gibberish melodies for a while, just come up with something a little catchy, and then fill in lyrics inside of those, those melodies and those flows and stuff. So it kind of turns into like a puzzle almost. It's like, damn, those syllables don't add up. I got to think of a different word right here to make it flow better and stuff. That's just kind of how my brain works. I got to get a melody down first, and then lyrics tend to follow after that. I would say the Lumineers are up there, Bon Iver. A new artist I just recently found, Anna Bates. She makes some really good folk-esque kind of music. Yeah, those are probably top three like right now. It's probably more of a personal preference for me, but I tend to like artists who I can tell like they're able to laugh at themselves a little bit. They're not super vain, super tough guy, this and that. Like, I would like to see a little more realness and like openness from artists in the industry. But I mean, everybody's got their own persona going on, their own brand. But to me, that just helps me like an artist a lot quicker. Your boy's a farmer. Your boy's a city farmer. So I'm getting down with the veggies. I know I do really like gardening, growing food, all that good stuff. I love comedy. Listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, go to shows whenever I can. Besides that, reading. I do read quite a bit these days. Those are pretty much the top three, besides cooking. My boy likes to cook. Gas starter. Like where I would like to end up. Yeah. I don't know. I used to think about that a lot. And I don't think it was very helpful for me. Like, I know having a goal in mind is pretty important, but I've shortened that a lot to where it's like, instead of thinking of the end of the staircase, I'm only thinking of like a couple steps ahead of me, trying to make sure I'm just on a good path. And like, ultimately, am I happy doing this? Do I feel good doing this? And I'm more of the belief these days that as long as you're doing stuff that, as corny as it sounds, like feeding your soul or just legitimately making you happy, I think you'll build a life that you're pretty happy you built at the end of the day.